and a happy Thanksgiving week to everybody. While you're putting your city and state in the chat, tell us what kind of trimmings you're going to have in your home. We'll personalize it for the week. What kind of trimmings do you intend to have at home? Have in your home. Oops. Y'all know I'm also a little nosy as well. So I want to know what everybody else is eating in case we at the Warwick household need to change up our menu just a little bit. I'd want to know that. Hello all.
Hello, hello.
Hello. That would be better. Hello to.
Hello, my dear.
Oh, goodness. I got the wrong thing there. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. As well. Oops. All righty then. Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. Welcome to today's session all about building Black wealth. Yes, it is 6:03, so we're officially going to get started. Welcome to the 10K Project. We are building the nation's largest community of Black investors that hopefully will be able to fund Black businesses for as little as $100 per investment. The idea of the 10K Project came up because I'm a business plan writer by trade. I saw a lot of great Black businesses out there that wasn't able to get the funding that they needed in order to start and grow their businesses. So I started saying 3 years ago, you know, if 10,000 of us came together, we put in $100 each, that's $1 million. We can start funding our own businesses. I'm saying that for 3 years. And one day in a meeting, Tawana, who is also here with us with the red behind her, says, when are you going to do something about that? I said, there's no way I could do it by myself. And she said, and everyone else, all 5 co-founders said, well, we'll do it with you. And that is how we got started. So we jumped before we actually knew everything, but that's how business is.
We dived in.
We started with focus groups, asking people, hey, what do you think about this idea? Everyone said, yes, this is needed. This is exactly what we need. Then you supported us. You came on board and said, yes, we were able to hire legal counsel. And we have officially not only gotten our check mark from the Securities and Exchange Commission, because you can't just throw up a website and say we're doing this, right? You have to get federal government approval for it. So we've gotten our check mark from the SEC, and we have officially filed our paperwork with FINRA. Woo! We have gotten our fingerprints done. We have to get FBI checked, you know, all of that stuff, but it is coming along. We have to say we cannot be sure we're going to be approved. So, you know, full disclosure, but, you know, I'm praying, all of us are praying here. And, you know, Tawana and I have to actually, we may be called to be interviewed by the federal government with regards to this. So there's just a lot happening behind the scenes, but we know, you know, that through the grace of God that, you know, we're just praying over our application. For legal purposes, we have to say if we're approved because our lawyer warned us, you know, to let everybody know if we're approved. But if you believe in our mission and in what we're doing, the greatest thing that you can give us is the gift of membership. It's $100. It's a one-time, lifetime, you know, payment. But in exchange for that, you're not only saying you believe in us, but we also have a lot of different members only content that we have. For example, tomorrow we have a young lady who's gotten business grants, and she is coming to talk about how she has gotten business grants. That's a members only thing. We have 2 people coming tomorrow night to talk about how to eliminate debt. Now, that is going to be public for the live. However, if you want to hear the replay, you got to be a member. So there are advantages to being a member of the 10K project. And I thought I was going to scoot that in like halfway through the Roland Martin thing, and we got all turned around because of all sorts of stuff. So you know what? We are here today, and that is what we're doing. So first of all, Tawana, did I legally leave anything out?
You did not. I'll only add, to the community. We didn't try to rush this because we knew we needed to do it right, because we understand how important the 10K project is to our community. And we want to give any reason for someone to deny us, reject us. So if we don't get this approval, it is not because we didn't do everything we knew to do and that the legal counsel that we hired knew to do. So we put blood, sweat, and tears into this. And Cherie say we prayed over that application. Your girl prayed over that application before I hit that send to submit button. I was boo-hooing. I was.
And y'all don't know how hard Tawana has worked.
Just hit submit. Yeah. My hand was shaking when I was hitting submit. I mean, this is for real. We put everything into this. Everything into this. So, just pray for us that we get this. My prayer was that the right person at FINRA sees this application and understands this mission, and they just approve it, right? It's nothing said, they approve it. So,
or if they just come back and say, Cherie, what's your middle name?
Okay. Right.
Or something like that. We can answer easily. Yes. But I do want to let everybody know that nobody has worked harder, including me. Nobody has worked harder on this than Tawana. Nobody.
Give it up.
Cherie has worked tremendously.
Everybody
has.
So we all have, but Tawana has really, when we talk about the person who looked over everything, she and the attorney looked over everything, and they were going back and forth with this appendix doesn't say this, and this is referring to this. And when I tell you that we could not have done this without Tawana at the helm of getting that application in, I really do mean it. So I'm asking everybody to send love and virtual hand claps and all of that.
That is super. But we are a team, and we have all contributed to this.
Yes.
You guys have had to deal with my craziness in the midst of all of this, and so we're in this together. This is an amazing group of people to work with, and I'm telling you, these are the people, and we're missing Talisha because she took some time off because she needed to, right? We forced her to take some time off. But this team is working hard to make this happen. We believe in this mission, and I can tell you, you're in good hands with this.
Yes, and I see Kamari is in Facebook saying hand clap, you're appreciated. We got a super team here. We have so many people on Facebook and on YouTube. So hello to everybody. I am going to read where everyone is coming from as well. I will say also that the 10K project is getting attention. Dr. Claude Anderson, the Dr. Claude Anderson contacted us. Well, his people contacted us to say, I'm ready to come December 7th, 6 p.m. It's going to be a Monday night, 6 p.m. So you don't have to change your time at all. We asked him if he could come when we're normally here, and he said yes. So you want to be in the building for that one. Dr. Keisha, what the topic is, Black Prosperity Matters, right?
Matters, yes.
Black Prosperity Matters. He is going to be in the building. Kamari Ellis and his team just did a great book review on last night, I think it was. Last night on Powernomics. If you have not gotten Powernomics by Dr. Claude, definitely get it. Definitely read through it. It is a must read when it comes to building Black wealth. So I got a phone call today from an individual. I can't say who it is yet, but pretty high up on the Black wealth totem pole. We are getting traction. People are seeing us. People are seeing what we're doing. I'm just letting you all know that. And I believe that we are going to, legal purposes, if we're approved, we're going to serve a huge, huge missing, gaping need in the community. The 10K project is going to do it. So thanks to all of you for being here with us, watching on the various channels or in Zoom tonight. Thank you so much. We've got Jackson, Mississippi. We've got the Bronx in the house. We've got West Palm Beach, Hampton Road, San Antonio, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, Indianapolis, Austell, Georgia, San Francisco, Fort Worth, Fleetwood, New York, Chicago, Highland, Indiana. Somebody's giving homemade mac and cheese. I'm coming to your house, Richard. New York, Memphis. Glenda's asking, are there administrative fees? I'm not, for the membership, it's just $100 fee. So if you have other questions, just put it back in the chat, Glenda. Brampton, Canada. We got Canada in the house. Hey, how you doing? Atlanta. People are saying, yay, congratulations, wonderful news. Thank you so much. Percy, thank you so much. He's saying we're going to get approved. We are praying over here, sending prayers. Thank you so much. Ali is saying, go Tawana. Ali is going to be one of our speakers tomorrow night talking about how to eliminate debt. So y'all want to be in the building tomorrow night, 7:30, if you want to talk about how to eliminate debt.
Hey, I see Michigan.
I love this group. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. My 5 celebrities. Thank you, Essie. We don't want to be celebrities. We just want to be servants to the people.
Leaders.
So, yes. All righty then. So thank you so much to everybody for being here. I'm going to give my co-founders a chance to introduce themselves really quickly, and then we're going to go into the Roland Martin debrief. And there was something pivotal that I disagreed with, but we were compressed for time. They originally told me 30 minutes, but I think we could have gotten 2 hours from there if I kept pushing it, but I wanted to be respectful of his time. So that's the reason why I didn't go too much back and forth with him. But Tawana, why don't you introduce yourself, my love?
My name is Tawana Rivers. I am the Chief Operating and Compliance Officer for the 10K Project, and just delighted to be here and to have you all here with us. And let's just keep passing this message on about the 10K Project, because we truly believe that if we get this FINRA approval, we are going to help so many entrepreneurs build their dreams. And then we're also going to help so many investors build that portfolio that's going to allow them to build their dreams. So we're just super excited about our mission here.
Yeah. Dr. Keisha?
Hello all. Dr. Keisha here, Keisha Waddell, Chief Instructional Officer, 10K Project. I'm super excited about our project. I'm proud of it. My goodness, and more proud of our community. You guys are our folks, and we just appreciate your continued support and your continued outreach about the project, to your like-minded friends and family. We appreciate you. Eric?
Hey, once again, let me just say this. Listen, I cannot speak highly enough about these ladies here that I have the pleasure of working alongside. I mean, everything, like, they are incredibly modest. So I can do the bragging for them. To tell you, they're like, I would put them up against anyone. I'm telling you flat out, I would put them up against anyone. Whatever, they would work circles around anyone I've ever seen. And I couldn't be prouder of this platform and what's being built. And I think it's going to be fantastic for the entire community. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Eric. So, I'm grateful to our entire team. We work really hard. We do work really well together. We actually have complementary skills, which is very interesting and unique. And, I wouldn't be able to do this without the team and without all of you. So again, thank you again. And now let's get a little messy here. So I promise you, this will actually won't be too messy. Okay, so let's give a debrief of some of the things that Roland said. And I have to apologize. I thought I'd get home in time to re-listen to everything a third time and write all of my notes. I didn't. So some things are going to come from memory. But we took the Roland Martin interview and we sliced it up into thirds. 1/3 talking about business, which he actually talked about longer than a third of the time. 1/3 about education and employment for 21st century jobs, and 1/3 about home ownership. And he said some very interesting things. I think we all can agree with that. I got a lot of text messages and Facebook messages and emails saying that you enjoyed the session with Roland. So I wrote down a couple of things, though, with regards to the homework that he gave us. And he talked about the fact that we can't do things individually, which I agree with, right? We can't do things individually. Okay. He mentioned the fact that prior to COVID, there were 2.6 million Black businesses, and 2.5 million of those businesses had no employees. And we had started talking about that before. We had started talking about the fact that our businesses make significantly less than our counterparts. Our counterparts' average businesses are about 750,000. Ours are about 65,000. Roland quoted 54,000. He said 5 years ago, the average Black-owned business was making $110,000. So we've actually taken a pay cut with our businesses. So we've had a spike in the number of businesses and we're making less money. So we started talking with him about, well, what do we do about that? Now, when I set this up, I really wanted to get information about the programs that were most likely going to be approved. Roland took the conversation a different way. He talked about the fact that he felt that, we as a people need to find a few organizations and really support them, really get in there and support them, and have the organizations come together in order to go to the people, the agencies that make the rules within government in order to say, these are the things that we need. I personally felt that was very overwhelming suggestion. I'm curious, y'all can put yourselves on anonymous if you want to. I felt like we often get that type of advice, right? We often get the advice that is, we've got to come together and do this grandiose thing. And we had over 200 people between Zoom and the various other outlets that we were streaming this to. And as I sat back and I listened to it again, I listened to the replay, I talked to my mother about it, and I'm like, yeah, but is that something really that we're going to do? Is there an intermediate step that we could do? And as I listened to Roland again, he said that he had been trying to talk to his fraternity for years about organizing. He had been talking to the Black Chamber about organizing. I don't know, I just kind of felt like there's a middle step in there that we can do. But before I talk about what I disagreed with and what I think we can do, that's more of a middle step, I want to get a thought from my panel here and from everybody out there that's listening to this. What did you all think of that?
I want to jump in on that one because I gravitate towards groups that are working on Black economic empowerment or have those kinds of agendas. One such group being the National Business League, and that was exactly the plan with us. Was our whole angle was to, or is to, still be a huge lobbying group. And so I totally get what he was saying with regard to that, because we have our fraternities, we have all the different agencies that we've often had, but we're all over. And to have an agenda that we bring to bear with the plan out, and I feel like that is always almost likened to like how we've talked about before, like these different programs do exist, and then we don't have our paperwork ready, or we don't have our plan together. So that's where I felt like I jumped right on with him and was like, yes, I totally agree with you on that, in that we have an agenda that is clear, no matter who we are, whatever group we're in. It's a clear agenda, almost in the same way that we, so-called, try to find these candidates who have our best interest in mind. We need to know what our best interest is, have that agenda that we all come behind, whatever individual group we're a part of. And I think that is what he was actually saying. So, and really come at it with some power, like an AARP or, groups like that. I mean, because as soon as they come, they have to deal with all of the people behind them, so it's that kind of thing. And I don't think we've ever had that kind of power as it relates to economics, that's what I really align with. I think that's what he was talking about. But I agree with you. It'd be good to hear your middle ground piece. But I know we have these individual groups who we've always had them, but we got to come together like that transformer and come at them, with a plan.
Yeah, I agreed with him. And so I'd be interested to see what the middle ground is as well. I agreed with him for the, I'm a person who likes structure, right? So anybody who knows me know I like structure. And these organizations already being there seem like a no-brainer to tap into that structure. Doesn't mean we go in and we fall right into whatever they're doing, because some of them have not been successful in speaking on our behalf thus far, right? But we fall in, and then we become vocal, and we, kind of make a difference as a collective, and try to help steer them and drive them towards in the direction where we know we can make the biggest impact. Because many of these organizations have been around for years and they haven't necessarily spoken on our behalf. I can tell you there've been many a times I personally been like, well, nobody asked me. If you'd asked me, I'd have told you something different, right? So I don't always feel like they're speaking on my behalf. But if I was a voice, in that room or part of that membership, then maybe they could speak on my behalf. So I thought it was a perfect call to action for me personally, to know that I need to do more than sitting here in my living room talking about all the problems, right? And actually join hands with people who can make a difference and who actually have those connections that can get in front of the lobbyists and get in front of the policymakers and truly make a difference. So from that perspective, I did like the advice. And again, I know much of that is because I like structure.
So I'm not against structure. I just, I'm hesitant. So Eric, I will let you, and then we've got some great comments in here too. So I'm gonna read some of your comments too. Eric?
Listen, not trying to be totally controversial on this, but this is kind of the sentiment. There is a very strong sentiment out right now that a lot of these organizations that we're talking about, and not to throw any names out, but for the most part have been off mission. And this is really be honest about that. Like that's part of the thing. That's part of the pullback, I think, from a lot of people when they think about it. It's going, well, look, how long have you been in power, and why haven't these changes taken place now? So there's a point now where leading now from the ground up. And someone put it in the chat. I just saw it when they were talking about grassroots. Most of these organizations were grassroots at one time. Now they're not. But these things that we know really truly would work, really truly would move the needle for us as a community. These are the ideas that for these organizations need to have these back in the forefront, where I think most of us, let's just be honest, I think we're all kind of discerning that they're not. And I think as a community, we're kind of feeling that way. And I think Roland kind of, in his own way, was kind of maybe even alluding to that when he even talked about his own fraternity in that sense. So, yeah.
So I'm going to read some of the comments here. Maurice is saying, majority of fraternities and Black chambers are pretty much useless and have no concern for Black people. I don't know if I believe they have no concern for Black people, but Antoine is saying, what if we did this on a smaller level in one city at a time and create a model. So I'm going to shift it a little bit for you when I talk about the middle ground that I have, but I like your idea. I like your idea. Because sometimes starting off with the mayor in your city may be a great way to do it. I've known other business people that have done that in their cities. So, so Sandra is saying here, I agree with Dr. Keisha. If you have no plan, you plan to fail. I think it's plan plus execution.
Yeah.
I've written a whole lot of business plans in my day, but if you don't execute on the plan, or if you don't have a counterpart that's receptive. And that was one of the other things that I kept hearing. I've been talking to this group and they're not receptive, right? He said that. He talked to his fraternity. He mentioned the situation where the Black financial advisors had a better return than the counterpart financial advisors. Yet when he asked the question, well, does that mean you're going to give the Black financial advisors more of the portfolio to manage? The room went silent. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a receptive audience on the other end as well, right? So Antonio, there has to be multi-tiered approach, collective agenda, grassroots organization, and personal familial empowerment. Felicia's saying, yes, Dr. Keisha, believe the example he used was the NRA and the fact that they only care if you support the Second Amendment. We need to boil the frog, Ryan's saying. Jumping into macro moves has failed since we have not built up trust. I can agree with that. I'm gonna read just a few. Y'all have a lot of comments here, so I'm just gonna read a few more. Richard is saying, I felt he was speaking from personal experience in the context of what can we get from the government and the Biden-Harris administration. A unified, intelligent front was important with a laser focus.
Yes.
I think we have a couple of levels though to get there. And my concern was and is, I've been in a lot of these meetings where people will say grandiose things like that. Because to me, that was a grandiose idea. Go into a structure that's already there and shift it and change it. I don't know about you. I don't have time. I just personally, between the 10K project and my own business, I'm like, I really just am strapped for time.
I didn't hear that as you, Tawana, go in by yourself and go in and change it. I heard collectively, us as a people, we go in. So when he talks about, he spoke to his fraternity, they may not have been receptive to him, but what if 50,000 frat brothers went and had that conversation? That would change people's minds. So that's what I heard when he said it. I heard him talking to the collective, and I received it as if I was already in line with the collective, not little old me by myself.
Well, so when I was saying going in, I was saying going into the organizations, not going into the administration or going into the SBA, going into the fraternity, the sorority, the Black chamber, etc. It just, to me, it seemed very overwhelming. That's why I came back and said, well, is there anything we can do as individuals? And I didn't mean totally as individuals. What I meant was our families on a micro level, on a grassroots level, and then work the way up. So, and I think if we had had more time to converse, I could have explained some of the things that I was thinking, and I'll tell you all some of the things that I was thinking. I'm gonna let Eric talk, and then I'll tell you all what I was thinking. And then that may have been a much richer conversation to have with him, but who knows? He may have kept his original thought process because he was very entrenched in that thought process. But go ahead, Eric.
I mean, let's just ask this question here. How do they not know this? I mean, these understand who that is with these that we're talking to. How does the Black Chamber of Commerce, how do they not know this? See, this is a point, I think, that this is where the frustration lies in why you have so many conflicts here. It's because of that component. Like Brian said, how do you not know this is what the community needs? Why is that not happening?
Because you're not talking to the community. Because you're not out there talking to the community. That's a simple question.
How do they know? They're already in here. This is what they're in there for. How do they not know? Like, how does that happen?
Because
You're
I think
from the community. How
sometimes
do
you
you
get
not know what the
there are so
problem is?
many distractions, right? I can only imagine the distractions that they're dealing with. And then we, the people, we kind of say, well, they don't really have our best interests in mind. So I'm not, I don't really know about them. That's not our grandfather's NAACP, right? So we say, and I said it out loud. I know you were trying not to, but I said it. So we just say, I'm not gonna be a member, and that's the problem, right? So we don't step up and do what we know we need to do to hold them accountable, and they get lazy because the people don't. They're sitting somewhere thinking the people don't care. They're not supporting us. Nobody's joining. We haven't had, membership has decreased. Nobody's joining us. So that passion for them is not there because the passion for us is not there. They don't have anyone to drive them. We don't have anybody to drive us. And here we all sit.
And I think that's exactly why he was saying that we all have to have an agenda that we all can follow from all of these different, places, and it's
but see, to me,
that
seems very like in the clouds to me right now.
The only reason why it doesn't to me is because of just what we're doing right here. We have the internet, we have social media, we have found one another. So many of us all over the place have found like-minded individuals, and we can do this. There's so many things are happening because of the internet. So that's exactly what I'm thinking that he meant, was that we, and just like it truly, just what you're saying is so the case. There's always that core group and these individual groups that exist. But something like this, we all come together, outline our plan, our agenda, and your line item might be yours, Tawana, that you wanted the other group to have. All the other ones are in there. Everybody doesn't have to be about every line, but all of our needs are in this agenda that we go forth with, with all the old school stuff all together, all the names people know, and we all are coming at them like that. And again, that is just bringing things that already exist, but just bringing it together in a powerhouse punch. That's the way I have been understanding it.
Yeah. So then I'm going to say what I think the middle ground is. And the comments are really flowing in here. I'm reading them. I am reading them. Trust me. I think the middle ground right now in the Biden-Harris administration, so I'm going to take a step back. When we talk about building Black wealth, we're talking about the average, family from other cultures having anywhere from $175,000 to $200,000 of wealth, and our average is around $18,000 to $25,000 of wealth. I'm asking myself, are there tools that are already out there that we can use to close the gap? Are there tools that are already out there that we are not using, we're not leveraging, that can close the gap? The 10K project is one of those things. There was equity crowdfunding. The laws went into effect March 2016, where companies were able to raise up to $1 million. I don't know the percentage yet of how many Black companies actually got on the other platforms and were able to, raise any amount of money. However, when we spoke with a gentleman named Bill Houston, who is a crowdfunding consultant, he said that we as Black people are not leveraging this tool enough. Our Black businesses are not leveraging this tool. And we as Black investors that want to get into real estate, we want to flip houses, we want to buy tax liens, all of that, we're not leveraging the tools that are already out there. So what I was looking for from Roland Martin were, what are the tools that maybe were in the Obama administration that were not funded during the Trump administration that may be refunded, funded again, you know, when I said I was like, funded again in the Biden administration, where we're like, there's going to be a set amount of dollars over here because Biden was the vice president. He's putting in the good old boys in these cabinet positions, right? So we can kind of say, okay, well, what happened during the Obama administration? Are there some things that we maybe didn't take advantage of during that time that we can take advantage of now? Another thing is the opportunity zones. Now, I didn't bring up the opportunity zones because I saw Roland do a segment and I knew where that question was going to go. I did see someone asked about the opportunity.
Yeah, Miss Vivian asked.
Vivian, but I knew where that was going to go, and I was like, we would be here and we would not get our other questions answered. So Miss Vivian, that's why I didn't ask him that, right? But I'm curious to know what's happening with the opportunity zones and what we think will happen within the Biden administration and how we get our fair share. There's a gentleman that all of us know, all the co-founders know, Vernon, that I'm going to reach out to and see if we can get him to come. He's an attorney, super sharp guy. He's the guy that could probably tell us from the ground what's happening with the opportunity zones. The other thing, the SBA 7A loans. Now, one of the things that Roland said, which is true, is first of all, the SBA does not approve loans. What they do is they guarantee loans. Okay, so you go to your bank, you say, I need an SBA loan. Sorry, I need a loan. And the bank can decide if they feel you are too risky. They can go to the SBA and they can ask for the SBA to guarantee your loan. Okay. With the 7A loan, we are able to buy businesses. When we start talking about Eddie the Economist, for those of you who don't know, you may be a little new because we have a lot of new people here. We hired an economist named Eddie Gray. I call him Eddie the Economist. Yes, that is his mafia name. So he told us that within Black businesses, we have a 98% leakage issue, which means if you purchase something from a Black business, but they have to get all of their supplies outside of the community, that money leaks immediately out of the community. If you go to a Black business and you buy something and they don't have any employees, then that money is not circulating within the community. So that's why you see our circulation of dollars being much less than other communities. What I was looking for from Roland and what I think an intermediate step is are there businesses out there that we can purchase potentially, go through the bank, get the 7A loans, and then what did Roland say one of the top problems was? Lack of cash, because you have to have 20% of the amount you're borrowing, between 10 and 20% in cash. And a lot of people have their cash, access to cash and collateral from their homes. Is there a way that we can leverage the equity crowdfunding that we're doing potentially, if we're approved, from the 10K project to help our businesses purchase certain businesses that can reduce that leakage? Now we're starting to talk about strategy, and it's not something that is, in my opinion, go to a 100-year organization and try to change it. To me, that seemed very overwhelming. So
see, I love your plan, but I don't see it as a middle ground. I just see it as a parallel plan. Why can't those two things happen at the same time?
Yeah, because I'm hearing the same thing. I'm hearing you say crowd fund, or crowd source, all of that idea to buy the bigger thing so that we can go forward. So yeah, I'm hearing a similar thing too.
When you attack something,
it's not one or the other.
Angle,
Agreed.
Increases your odds of attacking, right? Of being successful when you attack it. You come at it from different ways, right? If we were at war, we're not all coming from the front. We shouldn't be anyway. That's not a good leader. We should be attacking it from different angles, right? Absolutely. Even from the sky. I mean, so we have to think about that when we think about these problems. What are all the ways we can implement and execute to really, really attack it? And I hear yours is not a middle. I hear it truly as these things launching at the exact same time, head on. And that just increase the chances of it being corrected.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
but
again, that
no,
line of
Sheree,
regression is us coming together to do it, no matter what it is. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, no, and Sheree is like, okay, I've taken an assessment. This route's gonna be way faster.
But that might be true. That might be true. Doesn't mean just because you start them parallel at the same time does not mean they go through the continuum at the same rate of speed, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And some things are going to be faster than others. And I get Sheree's point about the 100-year organization. I think there's a comment in there about, you can't change the past. You got to start something new. I disagree with that. I think new voices get to go in and restructure old organizations. And we talk about those millennials, right? We've talked about them over and over again here and in this platform. That's the group of people. They're bold, they're brave, they're intelligent. That's the group of people that can go in there and be successful. So I think the 100-year organization has its place because it's rooted in taking care of Black people. We just have to remind them of their mission.
Yeah, and it has to just come to age, and come to the fact that they've lived long enough to be 100 years old. And here we are in a new dispensation, a new set of rules, a new scenario that they have to grow to. And so if you're going to be around till 100, you got to go and live and act like you're 100, and not act like 100, but act like you're here to
all the stuff from 100 years ago. So think about those new ideas, right? The new ideas, the fresh new thinking, creative thinking, and the historical knowledge that 100-year organization has coming together. How powerful we could be.
Powerful. Okay.
So I want to read a couple of comments. One from Maurice. We were told to shut up during the Obama-Biden administration when Black people started making financial demands. I'm going to say that when Roland talked about don't go to the tippy top, go to the people that make the rules. I have known a lot of people that have gotten meetings with the people that make the rules. And those people do tend to be receptive. So I wanted to, because I've lived in the DC area, I know a lot of powerful people and not so powerful people that know powerful people. If you get in the room with the right person who makes the rules and they're receptive to you, then I'm going to defend those individuals. I'm just going to say that, Maurice. And I know you didn't mean anything bad by it, but I just wanted to point that out. And then we had another person in here, Tanya, that asked a question that I do want to address. Yes, but how does the infrastructure of the 10K project work for this? That's additional work in an area that hasn't worked for us. Okay. So the 10K project is using a law called Regulation CF, Regulation Crowdfunding. And what it allows people to do is it allows businesses to raise, starting January 2020, up to $5 million from regular everyday people. So the reason it hasn't worked for us is because we don't know about it in mass and we don't use it in mass. Eric, who's here, brought a study to our attention that said that when you have 3.5% of a group come together for a certain, it was a study done around social causes. How does a country change things socially? 3.5% of a country has to come together, according to the study, in order to change things socially in a country. What we're asking is amongst the Black community, if we can put 3.5% of the Black community, which is about 1.3 million of us together, and say we're going to leverage equity crowdfunding in order to fund our businesses, in order to grow our businesses, in order to employ our people, in order to create more profitable businesses. Do we think it's going to be the end all be all and it's going to solve all of our problems? No. But it could put a huge impact. So the infrastructure, Tanya, is already there. We're just not accessing it. And that's where the 10K project comes in, is we will be able to, if we're approved by FINRA, we will have the check mark from the government to be able then to roll it out to the community so that we can start funding our businesses. Our businesses are usually funded at 1/3, 33% of our counterparts. So that's part of the reason why we are also so far behind with our employment, with our revenues as companies, et cetera. So I did see that, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed that, because that was a great question, Tanya, and thank you so much for asking that. So I don't know, Tawana, Dr. Keisha, Eric, if anyone else wants to talk, we have some great comments in here.
I was just reading through the comments
as well. Yeah, so Kamari in Facebook, hey, Kamari is saying, oh, I just saw his comment. He said that only 2% of Black people shop. Yeah, here we go. We don't support our own businesses. We only use 2% of our spending power with Black businesses. What would happen if it was 25% or 50%? I can agree with that as well. I do think, again, it is also a part of us starting with this 3.5% of people that say, okay, we're going to make a concerted effort to do this. And one thing that I personally believe is once something is successful, people start running and gravitating towards it. It's those initial people that get in and say, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to make a concerted effort. We're, going to be honest. We're going to give 110% with regards to customer service. No, we may not do it right absolutely all the time, but our hearts are in the right place, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to work it out. And then I think you can get to the 25%. I don't even think we need 50%. I think if we did 25%, a lot could happen.
I will say for myself, so many of you know I shared this, that I was doing this whole Buy Black mission right at the beginning of the year, and I'm still on my mission, but it's not as militant as I was trying to be, because what I realized was I was buying a bunch of stuff I didn't need in the name of supporting Black business, right? So I'm sitting on 20 shea butters, and I only can, I'm not that ashy. So I just realized that I needed to be a little more strategic in how I support it. And so if I don't need it, I'm just not going to buy it to be buying it. And because I realized I was being counterproductive, because I was spending unnecessary money helping the entrepreneurs, but using money I didn't need to spend. So I think we really have to just really think through what we talk about this plan and this agenda. I think we have to start having a detailed agenda for everything we do, because I need to be more strategic on what I'm, things I use. So toilet paper, I buy my toilet paper from Freedom Toilet Paper Company. So Essie, I hope that's not who you just said it was made in China, because I'm going to be so upset, because I'm on like the 4th order. I've made a commitment that I'm going, it's hashtag Ashy. I made a commitment that I'm going to try True. I'm a Tide girl. Occasionally I use Game, and I've been very leery to go over to True. I'm going to, when my supply is gone that I already have, I'm going to make my first True laundry detergent purchase. So I'm going to try to support Black for those things that I would normally buy anyway, but I just don't want to be wasteful, in my own home, in my own finances. But I think, I was buying, and I'm not playing. I could take you upstairs and you could see the 20 shea butters. I'm like, why are we only making shea butters? That's a whole nother. I'm sorry. I'm going to digress. Let me shut up, because we got to make something else.
Well, I've been talking about the barbecue sauces, so I'm glad that you're mentioning shea butters.
We are going to get rid of leakage. We got to make something other than shea butter. I love it.
Barbecue sauce.
We got something different to do. We got to think bigger. We got to take that shea butter money, right? Flip it and turn it into something bigger.
Real estate.
Like one thing that I do want to add about that 3.5% is the rate of ascension in the digital age is much quicker as we leverage technology and social media and all of those sort of ways, much quicker than we can get to that number. Previously, where it would have been, like where a meeting like this would have taken place at a physical location, And, you know, of all of those different encumbrances that would have happened, now we have people, you know, across the country that are tuning in,
Time
that are
zones,
connected
everything.
with us. So,
International,
yeah, that's one thing that I want, you know, everyone just to understand, that we can get there much quicker than what we previously ever could have.
We can definitely leverage. So Tanya has a follow-up here. I'm aware of the 10K project objective. I'm a member. My question was about these other parallel processes that don't seem to align. So I was also re-explaining the membership and what we're doing just for everyone else as well. So I'm only going to answer for Cherie. So this is not an official 10K project answer. This is a Cherie answer. I'm going to focus on the 10K project and leveraging Regulation CF, okay, in order to help build Black wealth. I'm going to focus on bringing in people who know about these tools, these current programs and policies, what's most likely to happen in the Biden-Harris administration, where is the money, if we're getting access to it, how can Cherie help promote that these programs exist so that thousands of us know about it? If the issue is that, hey, you know, you don't have enough cash, you need to have 10% of the cash up front, can we leverage the 10K project to get enough business owners that 10% so that it can say pay to the order of your family? And then I'm taking it from, if we can do that for thousands of families, and we can do that for thousands of families every year, and then thousands of families are hiring 3-4 people per business, then to me, that is a win. To me, if we bring Vernon here, and we bring a couple of other people here that know opportunity zones like the back of their hand, and there's a group of you that say, hey, we're going to figure out how to leverage opportunity zones, because that's something that's already here. That's not something that could be done.
Yeah.
Then, you know, to me, Cherie, I would have served my purpose. I understand that there are some people who are going to say, no, we want to go for the big thing. The next question in here was about reparations. I'm not, so number one, I'm a descendant of slaves, Louisiana slaves, both sides of my family. I can trace my roots. I do think reparations is due. I also think that is a huge, that's a huge mission. And I see the movement of it. There are other people that are better at that, you know. I will admit, I'm waiting for the train to get to a certain point before I jump on with reparations. Not because I don't think it's due, but just because my focus is elsewhere. Again, this is a Cherie thing. My focus is elsewhere. My focus is if I can get 1 million families, you know, to get some sort of assistance with the tools that are already out there, that's my middle ground. So I want to answer both of those questions.
Let me add to what you're saying too, and Cherie, to your plan, your personal plan, and really, I think many of us feel similar, the same way. What's helpful too with our community that we have there, once we find out about these programs and we realize where the holes are, that's where the education comes in. That's where we as a community create our wraparound supports to fill those gaps of understanding, so that we can kind of, you know, help, not kind of, but for sure help each other out, so that we can qualify for these programs and things like that. Because it's one thing to know about it, and we still don't have the wherewithal to pull it together. But I know that we do, because people have different skill sets, but we have to come together and make us, you know, be aware of what the holes are, and then we can start to craft supports around it so that we can go forward. You know, because that's the one thing we're going to find with a lot of the things as it relates to Black folks trying to go further. We know there's that education gap and the support gap, but we can be our own support. Eric, are you going to say something?
Good point.
Does anyone else have anything else? Because there's a question in here from Glenda. how will the 10K project continue to stay afloat if some companies start getting funded? Actually, that helps, because the more companies that get funded, the more people come to the platform, the more great businesses come to the platform, so.
No, I think Linda means if more people get funded outside of crowdfunding, if more people get funding from the organizations, how does 10K stay afloat? That's how I interpreted her question.
Okay, so I apologize. So I think that within the Black community, just personally, we are a community that gives to each other. And if companies are getting funded, some companies are getting funded outside of the 10K project, those entrepreneurs will eventually become investors. Mm-hmm. And those entrepreneurs will eventually become mentors to other businesses. And those entrepreneurs will eventually offer their services, other types of services. So what we're looking at within the 10K project is, is holistic people. Some investors one day may decide, hey, like we may have you may be an investor today, and you may offer your accounting services. You may hang up your shingle and offer your accounting services within the network, within the 10K network, tomorrow. So it really is about the network. And I'm not worried about companies getting funded outside of the 10K project, because they may get funded outside of the 10K project, but then come into the 10K project to do business with others, to hire people, to, all the things we've been talking about.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll just add, I envision two types of entrepreneurs coming to us. That entrepreneur who still needs money to build the dream, right? Maybe they get that funding now from the external organization, and they bring the dream to us for the second round of funding as investors. Now it's a developed dream, right? It's a product or a service that's developed. And as investors, we can take advantage of that opportunity. So I don't see it as a threat either. I see it as an obligation. Cherie said we're servant leaders. I see that as that. Why would we only want them to come to us for sources of funding? If there are other sources of funding out there available for them, I think the mission overall of the 10K still succeeds.
I agree. I agree.
So there are also, there are so many pockets of money, again, that we don't know about. For example, I went to oh my goodness, it was with NASA many years ago. Many people don't know that not the air mattress, but there was a special type of mattress that was really popular about 7-8 years ago. It was based on NASA technology. And what a lot of people don't know, for example, with NASA, is that they have a grant program where you're able to come in, use NASA technology for a commercial purpose. And if you are successful with it, you get to keep certain parts of the technology. I can't remember it all, but I'm a curious person. So anytime someone talks about various grants and funding, I'm just always there just to hear what's available. I think the memory foam, that's it, Isaac, the memory foam. There's just so much we don't know about. I think we're fragmented with regards to our networks. And one great thing with being with Colonel Frank Preston and the Retired Military Officers Group is that they would bring people in, and every month my mouth was open with like, wow, that's a thing. Mm-hmm. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. You can't possibly do everything that they would bring in, but we're missing so many opportunities. Mm. We're missing so many opportunities. So yeah, I don't have anything else except, we talked a little bit about how to shop Black during the holidays. Someone mentioned We Buy Black. There's official new Black Wall Street. There's all sorts of resources that are out there, and I just wanted to give people ideas, but like I said, I didn't get home early enough to really create my list. So
if you're in the business of looking for a watch for the holidays as a gift, Benson Watch Company, beautiful watches. Right now they've got a Benson Watch Company. Right now they've got 2 sales. I think if you use the code BLACK, you get 30% off the watch. If you use the code his and hers, I think you get a free bracelet with the watch, but watch is beautiful. And there are several other watch companies out there, Black-owned watch companies. Trying to think what else.
Antonio's saying, yes, I have one.
Do you, Antonio? It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have a couple of other questions in here. When will we be going over the Family Wealth book? Damien is asking that. The book club for the Family Wealth book is in February. So instead of it being Black History Month, it's Black Wealth Month, or something like that. But February is when we're going to do the in-depth book club. For that, it's going to be every Tuesday in February. We also tonight at 8 p.m., so in an hour, we have Esther Boykin and Desiree Fisher coming in. They both confirmed how to have the tough money conversations over the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday is the discussion for tonight for Family Wealth. So we also have Antoine asking if there are any farmers in the network. He's looking to expand with purchasing land. So I read today that the USDA may be giving Black farmers like 160 acres each or something like that. Now, from what I read, it seems like it's still in development. It didn't seem like it was finalized, but these are the types of things that, once these things are finalized, we need to be like on it to make sure we get the word out. Glenda's saying, I'm coming to the 10K project for funding to spend on marketing and expansion. Will this be a grant or a loan? So neither. The way that equity crowdfunding works is that in general, what would happen, at least on the 10K project platform, is this equity crowdfunding. So you would basically say, if we're approved, you would, first of all, you have to go through the SEC as well. Yes, you have to go through the SEC. There's some paperwork that you would need to complete for your business. The SEC would need to give you a check mark to say, yes, you are able to do equity crowdfunding. You would say that you would come to the 10K project, you would apply. If we accepted you, you would do a pitch in front of the entire community about your business, and you would be giving shares or equity in your business away in exchange for capital. So this is equity crowdfunding. If we are approved, we are going to have the guide for entrepreneurs that want to raise money on the platform. We already have a first draft of it. Tawana and Talisha and I are working over the holidays to get that finished up so that, we're ready to go when we're ready to go. But we're going to have multiple Zooms with regards to people who want to potentially raise money on the platform. So we will over communicate with you what that process is, how you go through the process, and all of that. But if you want a grant, tomorrow at 1 p.m., we have Nia Lewis coming to talk about that. So you'll definitely be there. People are saying, I'm ready for book club. We would have done it sooner, but our schedule is way too packed. So yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for everyone being here. Y'all had a lot to say tonight.
And a lot of new names tonight. I've been kind of familiarizing myself with the names, and tonight I see quite a few new names. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in an hour for the Family Wealth Challenge. Thanks, everybody. Night.